Good afternoon everyone. My name is Pona, daughter of Munisami. My student ID is 0211090505580001 and I am currently enrolled in OUMH1303 English for Oral Communication. Today I am here to describe my hobby, which is gardening, under the title The Joy of Gardening, Cultivating Nature and Happiness. Have you ever planted a tiny seed and watched it slowly grow into a vibrant plant? That is simple act of nurturing life is what makes gardening so special to me. Gardening is not just about plants, it is about patience, creativity and the satisfaction of seeing your efforts bloom. What gardening involves? Gardening involves several activities. First, there is planting, whether it's seeds, seedlings or small potted plants. Then comes watering, which is essential for growth, and pruning, where we trim leaves or branches to help the plants thrive. Fertilizing is another important step to nourish the soil and promote healthy growth. There are different types of gardening that I enjoy. I like flower gardening, where I grow roses, marigolds and hibiscus. I also enjoy vegetable gardening, cultivating tomatoes, spinach and chili peppers. Sometimes I grow indoor plants such as ferns and bonsai for decoration and relaxations. Some tools are necessary to make gardening easier. I use gloves to protect my hands and watering can to water plants evenly, a trowel for planting and pots or soil bags to grow plants indoors. You may even want to see some example of these tools on the plants I have nurtured. To make my presentation more meaningful, I would like to show you one of my gardening activities. Here is a short clip of me planting a mango tree seedling. This simple action represents the beginning of new growth. I prepare the soil, place the seedling gently and water it so it can settle well. Planting a tree like this is one of my most enjoyable parts of gardening for me. Why gardening is so enjoyable? So why do I enjoy gardening so much? First, it is incredibly relaxing. Spending time in my garden helps me disconnect from stress and reconnect with nature. The sound of rustling leaves, the smell of fresh soil and the simple act of touching plants create a peaceful environment that calms my mind. Even a short time in the garden makes me feel refreshed after a long day. Second, gardening allows me to be creative. It is not just about planting, it is about designing. I enjoy experimenting with different arrangements of flowers, combining colors that complement each other and shaping the garden layout based on my imagination. Sometimes I create small plant corners indoors to match the aesthetic of my room, turning gardening into a form of artistic expression. Gardening is also a continuous learning experience. Every plant teaches me something new. I learn about the types of soil different plants prefer, the amount of sunlight they need and the changes that come with each season. This knowledge helps me make better decisions when caring my plants. Most importantly, gardening teaches patience. Not every seed grows immediately and some plants take weeks or even months to show progress. This process reminds me that growth takes time and consistent effort. Lastly, gardening is deeply rewarding. Watching a small seed slowly transform into a fruit-bearing plant or a blooming flower gives me a strong sense of achievement. These moments reminds me that dedication and care always lead to the results. This feeling motivates me not only in gardening but also in other aspects of my life. Gardening has become a meaningful hobby that brings joy, fulfillment and valuable life lessons. Challenges and solutions. Of course, gardening is not without challenges. Sometimes pests and insects attack the plants, leaving holes in the leaves or affecting growth. Some seeds may fail to sprout and sudden seasonal changes such as unexpected rain or extreme heat can harm the plants. Even experienced gardeners face these difficulties, which can be frustrating at times. To overcome these challenges, I take several steps. I use natural pesticides such as neem oil or homemade solutions to protect my plants without harming the environment. I also research proper plant care, learning about each plant's preferred soil type, sunlight and watering needs. Rotating crops according to the season ensures that my garden stays productive and healthy. For example, one time my tomato plants were not producing fruits despite regular care. I observed the plants carefully, adjusted the watering schedule, and added compost to enrich the soil. Within a few weeks, the tomato plants began to flourish and produce healthy fruits. This taught me the importance of patience, observation, and problem solving in gardening. Other challenges include dealing with weeds, managing limited space, or coping with plant diseases. I handle weeds by regular pruning and mulching to reduce growth, and I organize plants in pots or raised beds when space is limited. For plant diseases, I monitor symptoms early and separate affected plants to prevent spreading. These experiences show me that gardening is not just about planting and watering. It is about learning, adapting, and finding solutions. Overcoming obstacles makes the process even more rewarding and deepens my connection with nature. Each challenge is an opportunity to grow not only my garden but also my patience, creativity, and problem solving skills. In conclusion, gardening is much more than just a hobby. It is a meaningful way to connect with nature, express creativity, and develop patience and perseverance. Through gardening, we learn to observe carefully, nurture life, and appreciate the small but significant changes that happen over time. Every gardener experiences the joy of witnessing growth firsthand, from a tiny seed sprouting into a healthy plant to a flower blooming or a fruit-bearing tree producing its first fruits. These moments teach us that consistent care, dedication, and patience always bring results, not only in gardening but also in many areas of life. I strongly encourage all of you to try gardening even on a small scale. Start with a potted plant, some herbs, or small flower in your room or balcony. You will discover the satisfaction and happiness that comes from nurturing your own little piece of nature. Gardening is also a wonderful way to relax, reduce stress, and bring beauty in your daily environment. Finally, remember that gardening is a journey, not just a task. It teaches a valuable life lesson about growth, resilience, and the reward of hard work. By taking care of plants, we also take care of ourselves and develop a deeper connection with the nature world around us. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you too will experience the joy, peace, and fulfillment that gardening brings. May your own gardens, big or small, blossom with life and happiness.